quasi sono emozionato, c'è un sacco di gente oggi. Thank you. Partiamo? Siamo pronti? Good morning. Thank you for coming. Today we talk about CO2 and R290. This is the third presentation that we make during this exhibition. So I would like to bring your attention, first of all, about some regulation that you might know. The European regulation number 517, 2014, that has been made in April and entered into force the beginning of June. The previous legislation on Fgas has changed substantially. So in this case, the practical effect will be seen as earlier as 1st 2015, date on which it replaced the previous EC regulation 842/2006. So from this point of view, I would like to bring your attention on the following: 79% reduction of F-gas, gradual phase down from 2015 until 2030. The criteria based on the greenhouse effect of the total refrigerant contained with the circuit. This is maybe the most important point. And the specific restrictions, based on the application, the greenhouse effect on the cooling capacity. So let's talk about the phase down of F-gas. The maximum quantity allowed for F-gas introduced into the European market will be gradually reduced starting from here 2015 up to 2030. So if we take into the reference point 100% consists that the quantity of F-gas on the market in the period 2009 to 2015, based on the reference point, the total quantity available in the Europe, will be reduced to 21% over 6 stages through to 2030. Let's talk about the leak test. As you can understand, the leaks test especially is an important issue. The F-gas regulation stipulates stricter and more frequent leak tests to minimize the leaks in the systems. Currently, the test cycle is defined, as you know, by metric quantity of refrigerant in kilo. However, in future, the new frequency depends on the quantity in tons of CO2 equivalent. Regular tests are prescribed already for a refrigerant filling of more than 5 tons of CO2 equivalent. I have prepared this table concerning the specific restrictions for product segment. So I would like to bring your attention just to have an idea that for domestic refrigerators and freezers, the GWP on the type of refrigerant is 150, and the date of prohibition will be 1st January 2015. If you have a look also the other segments, you will see the period when they will be entering into force. The GWP of some gases present on the market. So I think this table is quite clear and will bring your attention. The R32, the GWP is 550, and it goes up to 3,985 for R507A, and those are the the refrigerants that are today used in the commercial refrigeration, industrial and commercial refrigeration. So, what future for commercial refrigeration in Loewe Group point of view? So we think that the future is for sure CO2 and R290. This is definitely the drivers that we receive from the market and the drivers that we are taking into consideration while developing our product and testing the new solutions. For CO2 solutions, CO2 will be, I would say, just the only refrigerant allowed in our point of view for refrigerated cabinet with a remote condensing unit. And when we talk about plug-in application, so the refrigerated cabinet with a built-in condensing unit, we think that R290 will be the gas. So let's talk a little bit now about the technical requirements, just to give you some information about our added value and the use of these natural refrigerants. The higher working pressure for CO2 are, I would say, specifying for the production of heat exchanger a higher wall thickness for tube, because the pressure, the project pressure for CO2 generally is between 45 and 60 bars. If we talk about R290, the point which is very important is the limited refrigerant charge, which is maximum 150 gram. So this is what is permitted by the current regulation. The internal volume required in the heat exchanger must be reduced, definitely, to ensure the maximum efficiency of the system. So, as you can understand, the design of the heat exchanger is a crucial decision, because if we take into consideration the regulation and also the pressure project for this gas, the design of the heat exchanger could have two solutions. The first one, which is the simplest one, it is just to modify the current heat exchangers that you are using for your application and modify it to adapt to the new refrigerant. When I say modify it for new refrigerant, for instance, what is usual in the market, it is just to take the evaporator or the condenser and increase the wall thickness of the tube, just to resist to 45 or 60 bars. The other solution, and this is the solution and actually our added value, is to use the CO2 and R290 peculiarities to have higher efficiency. And this is what we are doing actually. So the winning solution, as I said, is to use the CO2 and R290 peculiarities, or we can say features, to have this higher efficiency. To do that, we have to go for sure with a small tube and different geometry. When I talk about different geometry, as you will see from the next slides, you will see that we have also developed specific geometry just to follow the CO2 market. So Luve Group solution for CO2, today we can tell you that the reduction from tube diameter 16 has been done to 12 millimeter, from 12 to 3/8 inch. And here you have just an example where you can see how we have applied the smaller tube together with a different geometry. If you take upright cabinets, for instance, for standard refrigerant, where currently the most important producer are using the tube 16 with the configuration 50 by 50, we are actually offering the solution with the tube diameter 12, 50 by 40. So a change of tube and pattern for CO2. And the most important thing is that we can make it without any change for the customer's cabinet design casing. Talking about R290, again, you can see the reduction that we can apply from 12 to 3/8 inch, from 3/8 inch to 7, and from 7 to 5 millimeter. Simple example of conversion for evaporator in the plug-in application, for instance, for R290 is 12-35-35, which has been converted to 3/8-inch 35-35. So same configuration. We have more than 20 configurations available within our group, within our portfolio, but 3 of these has been just designed for CO2 and R290. As I say, 12-50x40. Then we have also the 12-50x40 with an extra length for fin up to 120 millimeter. And for condenser, we developed the 5 millimeter configuration 20 x 17.3. So CO2, I mean, if we look at the data of the last 2 years, is increasing, actually is booming. We have an increase between 15 to 20% every year on the CO2 application. And this has led SAS to be the reference supplier in this industry, to establish a center of research. This is another important winning point of our group, and development, able to design together with the customer the most cost-effective solution with the best performance in respect of PID regulation. Take into consideration that the commercial refrigeration represents today 40% of the annual emission of refrigerant, and this value is set to rise up by 47% in 2015. This just to give you an idea about how strategic it is to convert rapidly to these natural gases. So, the future is our life. Thank you very much for coming. If you have any question, you can talk to Enrico, Antonio, and Valentina. They can give you any kind of support from the technical point of view. Thank you very much.